Hey, today we're going to be doing tiling on Ubuntu 23.04, and we're going to do that by installing the Pop! OS Pop! Shell or whatever it's called. And this should work with any Gnome distro, right? So the first thing you're going to want to do is log into an Xorg session. Ubuntu uses Wayland by default, so if you're having trouble with the official instructions or whatever, this is what you're going to want to do. Log out and log back into an Xorg session. And you do that by typing in your super secure password. And once we're back in the desktop, we're going to need to pull down some of the dependencies that Pop! Shell needs in order to install onto your system. So we will do that by popping open a terminal and sudo apt installing git make and node-typescript. Yeah, I gotta have the hyphen in there. While we're waiting for that to download, something for all the Filipinos out there. Back in 2021, PLDT was good, right? After 2020, they got a lot of bad press and all of a sudden they started fixing things and the internet connections were stable and fast, and then they started winning awards. And once they started winning awards and getting all of this good press, all of a sudden for the past 2 weeks, I've had no internet connection. I don't know. I just find it really weird. So on the one hand, PLDT, good job. On the other hand, PLDT, fix your Once the dependencies are installed, let's actually download Pop! Shell. And here's how you do that. In the terminal, git clone https://github.com/pop-os/shell.git. And this should pull down the GitHub repo that has Pop! Shell in it. And once that's done, we cd into the shell directory and we type in make local install, and it should just install Pop! Shell for you. And once you're done, you have tiling on Ubuntu or on the Gnome desktop. You're going to get an icon up on the top right that's going to let you mess around with the settings if you like, and also a little cheat sheet or list of Pop! Shell shortcuts for those of y'all that want to read the funky manual. So, question, would I use this? No, not really. I'm too much of a normie. I use a floating window manager. Specifically, I move around between XFCE, Mate, and Gnome depending on what machine I'm working with. But if I were to install a tiling window manager, it would probably be awesome, because that was the first tiling window manager that I used back when I was still a little baby Linux user. And the awesome window manager has served me quite well, and I kind of know how to mess around with the config file, so that's what I would use. So is this useful for me? Probably not, but it's a thing that exists, and I really wouldn't want to disparage something interesting that exists, because this is sort of the beauty of the open source ecosystem that we have in this GNU/Linux world. Cute little projects like this have a space to exist, and I'm pretty sure that there's somebody out there that finds this tremendously useful. There might be somebody out there that quote-unquote likes the way that GNOME does things, and that person might really want tiling windows because they have multiple really big monitors. I don't know. But would I use it? No. Is somebody going to use it? Probably. See you around.